This clip, this run through goes out to Isabel. You know who you are, and I just want to wish you luck in September. Please come and ask me if you don't understand anything in this video. Um, I will proceed as if you're going to ask me to clarify things you don't understand later. It's for the Offsec Proving Grounds box, Nagoya. This was quite a challenging box for me, but it all made sense in the end. There was a lot to learn. It was really good. So I highly recommend going through it. If you're wondering why I have these owls on my desktop, it's because rather than behave like a magpie when I'm doing boxes and just go for the shiny obvious things, I need to be more like a owl, patient, quiet, wise, all of that stuff. And if you either see owls or Buddhist monks, because I just have to remember it can be a grind and you need to have a sort of meditative um, uh, way about you when you're doing this or many things. Okay, so anyway, the path is for this box that you brute force a credential for a particular user because you get a list of usernames from the web page. Um, then that allows you to see an SMB share. From the SMB share, you can download a binary file that has clear text credentials in it. You also can enumerate for service principal names, so you get another set of credentials there. So you end up with SQL service credentials and a help desk service credential. You can use those to reset a user's password, and then um, you can also, uh, because you've got the credentials for the SQL service, you can use those to masquerade as the SQL service in order to sign tickets on part of that service. Service tickets that are frauded or forged, I should say, are known as silver tickets, and in the Kerberoast authentication world. And so you can use the silver ticket to log on as an administrator because you can tell SQL you're whoever you fancy telling them. You log on as the administrator to the SQL service. Doesn't give you full blown admin rights yet, but it gets you a step further because you see that there is an SE impersonate permission as the SQL service administrator level, and then that allows you to use print spoofer to fully escalate your privileges to get all of the permissions, and that allows you to read the flag and pretty much do everything you want on the box. So that's it in a nutshell. So, right. So this is just yeah, my terminal split into four in different directories. I'll zoom in a touch just in case it's hard to read and make this a bit bigger. Okay, and I'm going to go back to my original work just to show you the port scan. The only thing that's different here is the IP. So increase that. So you can see the port scan around here. Not on that IP address, but don't worry. So from this we can get a lot of Active Directory looking ports. Notice we don't have MSSQL, the Microsoft SQL service on here. We do have the domain, and I think we have the name of the domain controller in here. So I'll add this IP address to my etc hosts file, and if we go here, I think it's on 2168, yeah, 22121. Eventually, this has changed again. Yeah, it has. It's not 221 anymore, it's 185. So the IP address of the target, just to be totally clear, 192.168.185.21, and we have a sort of business landing page. Again, that domain we're going to put that in. I'll check it's in the etc host file. We have home and team, and that's just a list of names. So I guess this is a big sign to use these names in a certain way to brute force them. I'm not going to go into building the list of usernames or the brute forcing aspects. I'm going to jump over that. All I'll tell you, if you're keen to know, is the format is first name dot surname, and then if you make a list, that's how usernames appear in the system. Then the other thing I'm going to just jump to is what is the password. So you will find the password in sec lists under corporate passwords, and it is summer 2023. That's the password here. If you go through a brute force, and it is for Fiona Clark. Yeah, who looks like she's hidden in the middle of that. Anyway, so with that, now we know that it's Fiona Clark and her password is summer 2023. We can start having a look. I did run, because I'm just practicing with it. I ran limwinpwn, which is a script that does a load of checks, does certified checks, Bloodhound, it does loads of stuff, but it kicked over the server. And then when I run Bloodhound outside of that, just by itself, again that kicks over this. So, well, it messed with the network. So I'm not going to bother running those. I would run Bloodhound here, and I learned that running Bloodhound is probably definitely something you do. Limwinpwn possibly, but just be prepared to revert the box afterwards. So that's the Bloodhound command I ran. Excuse me. And I'm also going to do a Kerberoast check. So, in fact, I don't want to be in this directory though. I'm going to just start a new one. Oh, that isn't what I intended to do. That's what I intended to do. What's going on? Oh, maybe it's because, yeah, caps lock was on. So just run impact get user SBNs and see if there are any. That's our user then, Fiona Clark, her password, the IP of the domain controller, request, which would output this to the terminal. But because we use output, it will just put it into this file called hashes, but I'm going to call it hashes. I'm going to call it hashes with a capital H. So run that. Cool. It tells us there are two sort of SPNs, MSSQL and help desk. So if we then run hashcat like this, so we're specifying our hashes, the mode for cracking these kinds of hashes, and our word list RockU. It will start going and it will say this hash has this password, and then it will move on to the next one, which it doesn't crack. So MSSQL service, so we got this is the password, service1. So add to passwords. I'm not in here though. Let's just go back. Yep. And then OSCP, hack Nagoya, but we want the new one. Yeah, and then add two passwords is an alias, and the password was service1. Now if I cat passwords, service1 is in there. We also got Fiona's password as well, so let's put that in. No, add to password set, that one. And I've got add to users as well. Yeah, Fiona Clark. So that adds to users, but because sometimes you get caught out, it also adds to the passwords file as well, because sometimes username is the password. So then we've got, so just to recap, we've got the MSSQL service passwords, we've got Fiona Clark's password. Let's have a look at what else we could do. I mean, I'm not going to go through all the enumeration steps, but look at all of the obvious ones. Look at all the ports and the services that will be offering. And when you get new credentials, you restart that cycle. You re-enumerate again, because you might have more permissions on SMB or wherever. So I'm saying that I'm aware of that, but I'm not going to do it in this clip. I'm just going to keep going. So, clean the terminal. And that is wrong. And just easy way to see what SMB shares we have. We have these SMB shares. So if we log in as Fiona Clark, and we don't want a list, we want to have a session. What's the password? It is summer 2023. Sweet. And we're in the sysvol share. So recurse on just will we don't have to, we can list everything recursively. Prompt off, because that will not ask us if we want to download everything. And then we can have a look. What have we got? Okay, there's a lot of stuff. Reset password is juicy. Reset password.exe. So I am just gonna mget that. No, not that. Oh, what's going on? Mget good. Nagoya industry scripts reset password.exe. Cool. Okay, mget reset. If you can't find that, getting file. Okay, let's get out of here. Go back to our terminal. So we've got this exe binary. The way in fact, let me just, I'm going to mcd as an alias to make a directory that we then go into. So now we're in it, and then I just want to move, reverse, no, I want to move, oh, reset password into here. Okay, so the way I found these credentials eventually was with a tool called crap. Uh, ah, that's annoying. There was a binary reverse tool that had a command line interface, and it would decompile the whole thing and give you the clear text. In fact, I'm gonna just go and find it because I don't want to shortchange her. Okay, so the tool is il spy command, and if we give it the binary, whoa, I can't remember what P stands for, but we put it to an output location, it'll go through it. And then if I just open this with VS Code, this is just a handy thing. So we've got stuff, it's realised some C sharp. If we have a look in here, and if I just get rid of that, yeah. So now we're looking in this program.cs, we've got some more credentials. Another way to find this, copy, get rid of this. Now add to passwords won't be in that directory, so I'm going to go back here. Yeah, add to passwords. You see passwords now has that as well. The other way to find that password in that binary, if we go back to where we were, is with strings. And like me, you may have gone reset password, it's not in there. If you, however, as you might have seen my strings, if you use encoding mode -E and specify L, and that is for 16-bit little endian, and then do it, you get different stuff. And that's the well, those are the credentials basically. So just there's two ways of doing it. Let's move on. So we've got the SVC help desk password, we've got the SVC MSSQL password, we've got Fiona Clark's password. Like I said, I ran Bloodhound, I've started Bloodhound, I've ingested the data, and this view is from, if you go Cypher, and then if you click on the folder, you get this like pre-built lot, and it's from owned, shortest paths from owned objects, because I marked help desk and SQL service accounts as owned. That's what you can see the skull and bones from. I know this is tiny, don't worry about reading it, I will explain everything that you need to know. So basically the help desk people have generical over all accounts, so they can update passwords, and there's this employees group, but then there's there's also this developers group who have a bit more. I mean, your intuition would tell you they've probably got a bit more technical capability than just regular employees who work at the fish farm, which I think this is what Nagoya is all about. Maybe I don't know many Japanese people called Terry. Please come say hi. So anyway, um, so what we can do, we can use our help desk um, power to update Christopher's password, and then maybe because he's part of this remote management, I say maybe, of course, he's part of this remote management users, we could get a shell some way. So I'm just gonna just zoom in a touch just to hello. Oh, that's why, because I'm zooming in the browser, not in thingamabob, Bloodhound. Okay, so anyway, just to really spell it out, Christopher Lewis, developers group as remote management. Let's see what happens. Uh, Down browser. So um, where we can log in is via our PC with that SVC help desk. We've got the gobbledygook password. I've got it here on my clipboard. I'm just going to paste it in. Now we're in. And because we have the generic all, you could find this information of the group membership through RPC. Um, but anyway, so Christopher Lewis, so set user info is for RPC protocol version 1. Set user info 2 is just for protocol version 2. So it has a bit more functionality. Christopher Lewis, your password is going to be password 123 exclamation mark. Then we can come out, and I'm going to go back to my other split of terminals. No, I'm not. I'm going to go to a brand new terminal because I need a nice terminal. I'm just going to just just make things a bit nicer to look at, kind of. And here, zoom in a touch. Okay, so I'm logging in to the host now via EvilWinRM with his new password. Great. So the reason, well, not the reason. Let me just we can try and enumerate, but we've got quite limited permissions. We can't even run system info. Netstat ANO. Yeah, so a lot of ports. However, what we'll see is if I just go up back to the top of all of these ports. This was not 1433 port default for MSSQL. That was not in our mmap scan. This is being produced locally from the machine. So if we want to speak to MSSQL, we need to set up some sort of tunneling. What I've discovered is, for me, that Legolo was the best thing to do this. I couldn't get MSSQL, SSH to work, and if I was going to use Chisel, I might as well use Legolo. So that's what we're going to do here. So I did do a little skills clip on Legolo, and just to extend on that, if you haven't watched it, it's hopefully just 6 minutes will show you most things you need to know for Legolo. I just want to check what interfaces we have locally. So I've got a Lagolo interface. If I didn't have a Lagolo interface, then I would create one with that command. So sudo ip tuntap is the kind of device that we want to make as an interface. We want to add it. It's a device. It's going to be called Lagolo, and the mode we want it in is tun for tunnel. We would then set it up with that, and then finally the added thing, which is not in my video, which on the skill on the Lagolo use, but it's quite handy to know, is Lagolo has this private IP, or magic IP, I think they might refer to it as. So what I can do is say, if we are referring to port 240.0.0.1, then send that to our Lagolo device as well. That will become important in a bit. And I think if I add it, okay, I think it already exists, so that should be fine. So now let's go back to my evil WinRM. I'm just going to come out of here and I've got from before a directory called tunnel, which is one I had for this tunneling, and it's got some tools in it, so I'm going to copy it to here, I hope. -I is for recursive. Okay, cool. Save. So I've got the compatible agent and the local proxy. So now if I start my evil WinRM, and I'm going to go to a safe place on the host. Wait, I can spell Windows. Oh my days. Windows tasks, and then upload agent.exe. Takes a bit of time. Whilst that's, it's, I think, quite a big file. Whilst that's happening, we will start our Lagolo proxy, and I'll start it on 443, but I need to be in the right place. Nagoya. Yep. Okay. Go. Just press enter to clear. Clear. Then, and sorry, I rushed a bit there. We're listening on 4433. We're not using we're signing our own certificates. This is our address. So now we have the in tasks, we have our successfully uploaded agent, and this is the reason why I think it's the only reason I need this terminal for now. So we're going to run our agent, we're going to connect back to our IP, which is 45226 on 4433, and we don't worry about certs because they are signed. There's our Lagolo sitting patiently. Something's come through, connection is established. Then we press enter, goes back to the menu, session, what sessions, we've only got one, we want number one, and start. That started. Now what this means is, if I was to port scan either Nagoya, like the IP address on whatever it's on, 185.168.5.21, or the magic IP of 240, MSSQL will now show up in those scans. So we have changed Christopher's password. We have an MSSQL password. We have the service desk password. We have Fiona Clark's password. Just to dig a bit deeper into the silver tickets, a silver ticket is a fake or forged ticket for a service account. And if you have the password for that service, you can sign the tickets because you need the password to create the NTLM hash. And then if you sign the tickets, you could say, yeah, I've got this ticket and it is legit because it's signed by me. And the service will go, and it's from the administrator. And you'll say, yeah, it's from the administrator. I signed it on his behalf. That's essentially how silver tickets work. So it gives you permissions to, through a service that's been compromised, masquerade as the administrator is using that service, not as the administrator themselves, but, or not as, you can't go straight to admin account, but you can say, I'm the administrator logged in on this service. That's what you can do. So, to do a silver ticket attack, we need a piece of information from, we need the SID of the domain. We also need the MTLM hash of the password of the service. I think that's it. Yeah. So you can use Rubius to get passwords. You can do it on the command line. This site is probably the best way to do it. So service 1 was the password, and then that's the hash of the password. So we would copy that and then use that in our command to create our fake silver ticket. We also need the SID of the domain. So if I go to log in as Christopher again, and you can get this straight out of PowerShell. You don't need to upload PowerView or anything, it's just get AD domain. We will see domain SID, so ends in 5993. Okay, smashing. Come out of here. And then let me go through the ticketing command, new terminal. Yeah, I'll do it. No, I won't. Actually, I'm going to do it in the Tmax session. Okay. Don't want to be there though. I'd rather be in Nagoya. Nagoya 2. Of course it isn't there. It's in the fattest fingers on the internet. Okay, that's our command. Let's have a bit of a closer look. So we're going to use in-packet ticketer, the NT hash of the password of the service we've compromised, the domain SID of the domain we want to target, the domain itself, Nagoya Industries, the SPN, which is MySQL, the user ID, the ID, and then the name administrator is the one we want to impersonate. It creates us a ticket called administrator.ccache. There we go. Then we need to add the location of this ticket to our environment, like that, for this parameter KRB5 C cache name. And if you haven't got klist installed already, it's krb5-user. So if we do klist now, klist will look for this environment variable, and then it will print out the details of our new ticket we've created. You will also have to create for klist and local Kerberoast, because we will use Kerberoast to do the authentication to MSQL. This comp file, I don't even need to edit it, so I'll just cat it out and then explain it. So the realm that we're going to sync time with the KDC, the C cache type is type 4. This is forwardable and proxyable, so it can be used by tools like Impacket. I'm not sure what DNS. I think these are both DNS related, and they are just less constraining for handling the DNS names of the servers involved in this. FCC, it's basically an MIT format of tickets, like a more agreeable one, I think, the one that Impacket uses. The KDC location, and I think, the domain realm. So that is what we need. I don't think the indentation matters, but I guess don't quote me on that. Do your own research. So we've got our comp file in etc krb5-user. So now the last thing, because we're going to be interacting with Kerberoast and MySQL at the same time, we need to add our tunnel magic IP to our etc hosts file. What? Where is the whole thing? I'm surprised that worked, and I'm sorry I didn't have that in there already. We should have two things. Nagoya and Nagoya Industries. Okay. Unbelievable. Right. So now we've got our ticket in our environment here. Oh, there. Okay. So all that's left to do is to have a MSQL session now, and we just say K, and it will just use Kerberoast only to do the authentication. Great. And we are the administrator. Brilliant. So you won't find anything in here of use, so we just enable XP command shell. So as it says, you know what this means. So of course what I can do is Yeah, okay. I'm just going to make a new reverse shell with MSF Venom. It's called S43 and it'll go back on port 43, and the IP address needs to be 226. Okay, and that will be in my immediate tools. So then going back to here, we're going to use the command shell to, in fact, I'm going to use setutil. So, um, F, and then so I've had a brainwave, but I'm actually going to do it in a different way. I'm just going to open up a Penelope listener. I think this is my preferred way. So on port 555, this is just an alias to launch Penelope. But yeah. So in fact, still on 443. Just clear that out. Go to here. So I went to rev shells and um, basically got 443 on my IP. And then PowerShell base64. So that command, in fact, let's just copy it, get the browser down. We're listening on 443. So if we do XP command shell and then that command, we should get a call back to Penelope here. Yeah. Who am I /all. So I've got a few handy things, mainly impersonate. So then if I go to tasks, okay, I've got our agent. I'm just gonna no, I'm gonna do it this way. So we basically print spoofer. I'd like a piece of that. What's gone on there? I think it doesn't like that. And am I still serving? No, I'm not. So imtools just an alias around a directory of tools. We got that, and if we get S43, that again. Now, if I launch another listener, oh, I don't actually have to do that. I just run print spoofer from here. Although this is Penelope, this is the good thing about Penelope. If you don't want to get a whole interpreter, it will handle multiple like sessions. So gonna run print spoofer and run S43 to launch the shell again on port 443. So Penelope says, look, I've got a new shell. Press enter. We should go back to the first session. Or I can just press Control D to detach. And then if I say sessions, now I've got session 2, I'll join that. Now, like, who am I slash all. I'm not going to be full blown system. I'm still the MSSQL, but I've got all of these, which means that I can oh, and see the proof and everything else I need. So that's the box. Happy hacking.